Hello, everyone. Sometimes on the soul journey, we just have to accept that we can't organize it all. We can't put it all together. We can't take the puzzle pieces that we have in our mind, put it on a piece of paper and put the border down first, find all the corner pieces and fill in the rest. The impulse towards tidiness and organization, intellectual cohesion sometimes is not possible. And it's not possible because of some kind of rule that says you're not allowed to know right now, because I actually feel that in reality, nothing's hidden, but things seem hidden because we haven't yet come to a place within where we can understand, right? Our own soul journey has its own rhythm, has its own flow, and we can't understand what we haven't yet awakened to or realized within. There are facets to our life journey and how things are being played and organized that is beyond our current comprehension, which is so beautiful. It has to be beyond our comprehension because we have to appreciate there are realizations we have not yet had, and we can't understand how things are going and what things are and what's unfolding beyond our level of our self-knowledge. We're going to project our own self-understanding onto the world that we see. And, logic can be directed anywhere. Logic can be formulated in any way at all. The mind can make anything logically cohesive. It doesn't mean it's sane. It doesn't mean it actually matches reality. So we're constantly making this effort to bring cohesion to our mind so that we don't feel insecure. There's a beautiful Hebrew prayer. Yihiyu leratzon imrei fi, v'hegyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri v'goali. Yihiyu leratzon imrei fi. May the words of my mouth be in alignment with your will. V'hegyon is alignment, I think. Libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri v'goali. And may my heart be oriented before you. Adonai, source, creator, tzuri v'goali. Tzuri is like my rock, but also it's that which is enduring and stable and constant. V'goali, my redeemer. It's a beautiful kavanah, it's a beautiful orientation that in the Jewish tradition is often prayed before prayer, right? Before coming into a space of attunement, we make the intention. Yihiyu leratzon imrei fi v'hegyon libi lefanecha. May my mind, my words, my heart be in alignment with your will. And I think there's a lot of humility in recognizing how mutable the mind is, especially with Mars in Gemini, right? The great potential for mental reactivity to be feverishly looking for some kind of answer or direction. The insecurity within the Mars archetype is the need to stay in motion because we need to feel that we're making conscious choices and acting in relation to our soul purpose. Thus, there's a natural function within all beings to be in response to experience moment to moment. If there's indecision, or if we don't know what to do, or in this case, if we don't know what to think, if we're traveling and we don't know how to read the map, there can be immense insecurity. And an unconscious reaction would be to just go. I don't want to be insecure. I don't want to accept that I don't maybe understand. I don't have the whole picture. I don't know how to read the maps. I'm just going to keep on going. We have to appreciate that as a part of this journey, we're constantly gathering more perspective, building a greater comprehension of reality as we continue to learn. Our own internal healing, our own internal awakening and self-remembering is the essence here. We can't understand our reality or read the map, right? Piece all things together beyond our own level of consciousness. So we have Neptune, which is reality, which is truth itself with a capital T. And it's not walking around telling you what things are. It just is what it is, right? Neptune is about surrender. It's about trust because it's what innately is. And the stress of the current Mars squaring Neptune, right? We have Mars slowing down while Neptune's actually slowing down to go direct. Mars is slowing down to go retrograde. And they're making this really tight square, the first of 3 squares. We're really beginning a very big process. And this Neptune squaring Mars is actually, it's heightened and it's there for a good few months. We've already been in it, but we're entering this first distinct phase of Mars passing that square point with Neptune. So it really heightens that tension. And all squares, that tension really invites a level of growth, deeper self-knowledge, deeper awareness, deeper wisdom, deeper self-reflection. This particular transit, in my view, is one of those transits that just sort of grabs us and says, this is the theme right now. Like, this is what's happening. Where can we allow for a deeper trust and a deeper learning and directing? I've often given the example of the fly on the trunk of the elephant. There's no way in the world that the fly can apprehend the entirety of the elephant. And so it's not going to be able to just yet create a map of the entire elephant. It's going to have to take it step by step, right? It's going to walk and look around and grab an understanding of the trunk. Then maybe it'll fly to a different part of the elephant. And over time, right? How did the ancient people map the world? Traveling. Very meticulous attunement and thought and categorization and cataloging. And after enough of gathering data, they are able to put all the data together and actually begin to build maps. And enough people had maps or saw different places, and they're collaborating, communicating, sharing knowledge, sharing information. And that allows for a more comprehensive mapping of the world to occur. I actually saw a really interesting video from a documentarian news type person, Johnny Harris, on YouTube, that spoke about a time when the whole world practically believed that California was a separate island. And it has to do with this whole Gemini function of people confusing opinion with fact, right? You see a part of reality, and then you map it and you confuse data, which is really what we're taking in through the senses and then categorizing it in the mind with assumptions or opinions. And then enough people hold an opinion, and then you make a map and you draw about it, and then some pirates take your ship and they take that map and like, oh my God, California is an island. And those pirates sell it to some other country. Suddenly everyone believes that California is an island. So much of how we think about reality and categorize reality is based on quick, hasty, irresponsible, not entirely intelligent conclusions that are made before we really allow for a more comprehensive exposure to more experience, more data, more community. Everything in life is giving data. Everything, which is also the insecurity within the Gemini archetype. You're never going to arrive at a full comprehensive understanding of reality because there's always more information. So we just do our best, and hopefully the maps and our language and the knowledge is functional. You know, I'm wanting to buy a device to put my pu'er tea in. It's like a tea strainer with a little filter, so you can pour it straight out of the bottle without taking the strainer out. I've learned some of the words, and tea infuser, there's a tea filter, there's a tea strainer, there's some other words. When I began looking for this thing, I knew it existed. I was certain someone makes it, but I wasn't sure what words to use. So we start with whatever context we have in our mind. Water bottle, tea strainer. That led me in a certain path and showed me certain businesses that sell other things that are kind of like what I'm looking at, but not what I'm looking for. But that which they're selling had better vocabulary, which then opened up the door for me to then expand my search. So we're constantly learning more now from a holiness, divine, ever unfolding perspective of truth revealing itself and guiding the way in our life. We have to appreciate that we just don't know a lot right now. And so the gift and the beauty and maybe the peace of keeping an open mind will allow us to walk this journey in a state of deeper revelation and forgiveness. The forgiveness is forgiving our thoughts, the hasty conclusions that we've tried to fix on everything. Right? There's so much that we get to learn, and we get to be positioned in a way to share. Really, where are we called to share? What's the joy and the excitement and the bliss that maybe is just calling us to move forward? Because another function of this Mars Neptune is don't try to understand, but just do it. Just do it. Just say the thing or research the thing or make that communication. Whatever it is, it might actually feel like a withdrawal of a lot of random energy of expelling a lot of mental energy in all kinds of directions. There's that beautiful teaching, I think, in the Gospel of Thomas, where Jesus says something like, the fisherman was fishing and caught many fish, and then caught one big fish and let all the little fish go. The little fish, all the many fish, are all the things we're thinking about and doing and involved in. And that one big fish is that one thing that we really want. It's that one thing that actually feeds our soul in the deepest way. And maybe it doesn't fit into the categories that we have, right? Maybe there's no square for it. If there's no category for it, where do we place it? How do we work with it? There can be so much fear, so much judgment. And remember, this Mars is actually in conjunct to Pluto in Capricorn that has just gone direct. So that in conjunct energy as well can really point to a dissonance of like, how do I fit this into these existing frameworks? And yet there's something in my soul calling me to evolve. I just have to take it one step at a time. That's very much implicit to that in conjunct energy. Just go with it. Start. Do the best that you can. So this is a really powerful time for trusting and allowing ourselves to build a greater framework of reality. There's something really powerful about this time as well. And I want to introduce this next part of my sharing here with a story. I got this from a friend of mine. I'll have to ask him how it goes. I definitely don't have the story right, but I'm pretty sure I got the message and the punchline. So this happened a long, long time ago. God and the devil were having a conversation. And by the way, I should say Lucifer is in Sagittarius right now, in an exact opposition. It's at 22 degrees Sagittarius. So after the story, I'll talk about this Lucifer transit. Jeffrey Wolf Green taught a lot about Lucifer, how I'm looking at it, how I'm integrating this in this transit. There's a mutable T-square with Neptune, Lucifer, and Mars right now. It's very tight. So this story really brings this out. And so God and the devil were having a talk, and God said, I'm thinking about creating humans, and I want them to know themselves as one with their creator. And the devil was like, God, can we just stir things up a little bit and maybe like make it hard for them to know themselves? Like, yeah, make them holy beings inseparable from their, but can we like get them confused and like maybe help them forget, so they got to figure it out and kind of suffer a little bit and strive? God was like, why would I do that? And the devil said, come on, please. And so he begged and begged and begged. And God was like, okay, fine. If that's what you really want, but take a few days. You got to come up with a really good plan. You got to tell me, where should I hide the truth of their true nature? Like, where should I hide this beautiful, infinite knowledge and comprehension and apprehension of all the reality beyond dualities, beyond opposites, a deep abiding peace? Where should I hide that? So a few days later, after deep contemplation, the devil came back to God and said, okay, God, I figured it out. And God said, okay, I'm open-minded. Tell me about it. What are you going to tell me? Hide the truth in the Himalayan mountains. I'm planning on putting some really old people there. That might be a good place. No. They'll find it. Eventually they'll have maps and technology. They'll find the truth out there. Well, what about in outer space? No, they'll find it there too. And humans can search outside and go all kinds of places. Put it in their heart. Their heart. Yeah. Put it in their heart. But they'll find it. It's right there. It's so close to them. They won't even have to think about it. And the devil said, you're right. Put the truth in their hearts. It's so close to them. They won't have to think about it. But when they find it, they'll try to organize it. That's the punchline. Hopefully that punchline translated. So we attempt to organize the truth. We find it and it's peaceful, it's loving, and it's accepting, it's unifying, and there is deep understanding in this peace. And in the heart, there's a unity where opposites or dualities are okay. That they're not a problem. They're only a problem when we're trying to organize and fit things into boxes in the mind, dissociated from the wholeness of creation, dissociated from the wholeness of our being. So let's look at the chart right now, and I'll share some about the transits more specifically. So we're putting Mars on the ascendant. We're really just hours away from the exact square to Neptune in Sagittarius. We got Lucifer in Neptune and Pisces. Lucifer in Sagittarius here. Note as well that Jupiter is the ruler of Lucifer, and it is moving retrograde and soon to join Neptune within a 5 or 6 degree orb in Pisces. So there's a lot of very strong Sagittarian Piscean energy right now. Lucifer is a light bearer. It really, in its highest expression, points to where we have the opportunity to stand in an exemplification and demonstration and bringing forth of the truth. It's a quality of inspiration, light, luz, like a lighthouse. And there's a profound quality of healing and inspiration that comes with that archetype. The shadow of it is where we are tempted to give up on that, right? So the temptation of Lucifer in Sagittarius would be beliefs or dogmatic thinking that take us out of our own direct experience, right? And thus result in an underlying, I can't know the truth, right? Or the truth is beyond me. It's something else, and I have to believe in something that actually at its core is a distorted understanding of reality, but is just feeding the part of me that doesn't want to feel insecure. The temptation with these signatures, in particular with a tendency with Neptune to be delusional. And delusion is upholding a version of reality that is not true, but making it true because of a total unwillingness to surrender, to be disillusioned, actually. Disillusioned, realizing our ideas aren't true, which can be a powerful healing time of reorienting and opening to learning, right? The hastiness of this Mars, the delusional quality of Neptune and Pisces, the dogma and distorted understandings of Lucifer and Sag, right? This can really bring about meeting this time of profound healing and redirecting and guidance and sort of life organizing itself on a level beyond where we have not yet come to know ourselves, and deciding instead what things are and what things should be and where things are meant to go. The possibility of strong certainty and knowing, right? That accidentally, even perhaps innocently, closes the door to true revelation. That closes the door to deeper understanding, deeper healing, deeper learning. We want to really be open to direct experience, to be holding the higher expression of Lucifer and Sag, opposite Mars and Gemini, that I am here to be a light. I am here to live my truth. Sagittarius is you are being honest with how you are living. There's a congruency. You only share what you know. You're not trying to be something that you're not. Replicating a previous experience or someone else's understanding. You have to just be yourself. All of the insights come with honesty. Our wisdom is really accessed when we're honest with what we know and we integrate it and apply it and speak it and share it in our lives. You know, there's this story about the water pitcher that was walking around trying to find itself, and it read a lot of spiritual books and tried very hard to figure out, who am I? How can I find meaning? How can I find joy in life? And it tried different practices and different teachers, different philosophies, and try standing this way, try, filling yourself up with these liquids, try doing all kinds of crazy things that I'm potentially going to make up in my mind that a water pitcher could do when it's trying to figure out who it is. And then one day it just came across a really wise being that said, you can't find out who you are by realizing some kind of external idea. You can only find out who you are by living as you are and sharing what it is that you are. You have to taste it. You have to experience it. The water pitcher is like, what does that mean? What does that mean? So one day the water pitcher is walking around and finds a little girl that was thirsty. And the water pitcher said, how you doing? And the girl says, I'm so sad. Why are you sad? Well, I'm thirsty. I haven't drinking any water. I'm really thirsty and I have this cup that's just empty and I need water. And the pitcher said, oh, I have all this water and would you like some water? And the girl said yes. And so the pitcher poured itself out. And while it was pouring itself out, it felt its own wetness. Right? It felt the water inside. It felt the water flowing through the spout, right? It saw what was inside manifesting on the outside as a miracle of life being offered to this other being. And it suddenly realized who it is. And that its own realization came because it was spontaneously, sincerely, authentically in the moment giving of itself. Of course, in this analogy, you don't want to think of a construct of water that is also completely renewable. Because when we pour it out, we taste it and experience it and find more of it within, and it doesn't end. So maybe a better example would be a well. And it says, sure, draw water from me. And the well is infinite. It just never exhausts itself. It's infinite supply of water. At least in this idea of some wells exhaust themselves, but every analogy is just an analogy. So we have to give ourselves from what we actually are. So there's like, may my life, may my heart, may my words, may everything about me as I am created, what is in me, which I can understand and see its gift. I can see its reflection. I can see how it makes others feel. I can see the light that it provides. My heart can open in just seeing the emanation of light that comes through me and affects the world around me, right? We can share the love that we are and realize what we are. But we can't grasp it or control it or organize it, but there's inspiration. And that's the calling here, to follow our inspiration at this time. To follow the calling where we're naturally called according to what we are creating. The pitcher didn't create itself. The water inside isn't something that it created. It comes with itself. The beauty of what we are is innate to our own being, far beyond our understanding. It's prior to our understanding. So many blessings, lots of love and peace and joy, and deepening of faith for us all on this journey. Quick reminder, the Jeffrey Wolf Green Association of Evolutionary Astrologers class series has begun. This is a 9-month class series, and you can enroll anytime. So we had our first class on Mars retrograde a couple weeks ago, and if you enroll, you'll gain access to all past classes and all future classes. This is being co-taught by myself and 4 evolutionary astrology colleagues. It's a one-time payment of $99 for the entire year. We even have one wonderful person that on their own decided to transcribe these classes. So you'll have access to that as well. We also have an additional mentorship group, which is being offered in the middle of every month. So the mentorship group is an additional class. It's a subscription class, so you pay a monthly fee for this class. And it's an opportunity to practice in a smaller container all of the content that we've learned in the monthly topic. So we're having our first mentorship group, and this is hosted by Rose, Marcus, and Kristen Fontana this weekend. Find more about it in the description below. It's going to be a smaller, tight-knit group to practice and apply working with Mars retrograde. I'm very excited for that. Check it out. Learn more about it. Feel free to reach out to the email in the description below for any questions. Thank you for watching. So much love.